Alright guys, it's time to put the cylinder head back on it. But before doing that, I'm going to go ahead and install all the new lifters that I got. Melling brand. They're from O'Reilly, so hopefully they're decent. So I'm going to smother them with this assembly lube and lower them down in. Alright, so before putting on the head gasket, I'm going to need to wipe all this assembly lube off. I like to just use a brake parts cleaner or a carb cleaner. Spray down on a towel. Make sure all the holes align. Looks good. Alright, now I'm going to just set down the head on top. When I'm going to set it down, I'm going to try to go down as evenly as possible. That way I don't mess up the gasket in any way. Okay, so I didn't buy new bolts, but you could reuse these. It's not really an issue. You lube the thread with motor oil. The shorter one with the stem goes right here. It's just an alignment pin for the gasket. Alright, I just remember that this bolt right here, the very front one on the outside, it requires sealant to be on the thread, so I'm going to clean this up and put some sealant on it. The thread comes down right through here, so I'm going to spray some brake clean in there. Should be good right there. so right here, cylinder head bolts, 3 stages, 22, 45, and 110 foot-pounds. And I saw some sources online say to tighten this bolt to 100 instead of 110, but there's nothing in this service manual that says I need to do that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten them all to 110 final torque. And the way you tighten them is you start in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Basically, you just do a circle. So yeah, got the torque wrench set to 22 foot-pounds. Final stage, 110 foot-pounds. Alright, that's all tightened down to 110 foot-pounds. Now we could go ahead and put the rods in and then the rocker arms. So rocker arm bolts, 21 foot-pounds. guys, so it's time to put the valve cover back on it. I got the new grommets, and then this little spacer goes over it. So the grommet goes in first, as you can see, kind of locks into place. And then the grommet goes in after, or this little spacer goes in afterwards, just like that. So I'm going to go through and just install all of them right now. Got new grommets and PCV vent tubes. Alright, this one goes in the back, this one goes in the front. Alright, so I got the gasket here. Thermostat pops in first. This goes like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the water pump on. There's one bolt that is longer than the rest, and it goes into this hole right here. Make sure the gasket is properly aligned. Okay, so the water pump to block bolts, 17 to 23. I looked it up. I believe what they mean here is 17 for these 5 bolts, and then 23 for the pulley. Not 100% sure, that's just what a couple sources said online, so I'll just snug these 13mm bolts to 17 foot-pounds. So this torque spec sheet does not have the torque specs for these. I looked it up. Some sources say 13 foot-pounds, some say 15. Since these are 17, I'm just going to go ahead and snug these up to 17. It should be just fine. It looks like, I mean, they're the same size bolt and same material. There's 5 bolts, so try to go in like a star pattern. Always go through and double check them. Torque it down to 118 foot-pounds.